Okay.
So just to remind you of the format, Logan, 5 minutes or so for your intro, bio, whatever, and then just questions and discussion.
Sounds good. Well, my name's Logan Forsythe. It's great to be here. I appreciate the invite. I've seen a lot of y'all before, met you before, so it's good to see y'all again. A lot of new faces, which is always exciting for me, not for you probably, so I'm sorry. But I'm not a politician, right? Erin's not either. And I like Erin a lot too. Y'all should really look into her stuff and what she's doing. Part of me now being a politician is that I'm not even going to try to be a politician. So my speeches are never the same. I don't have one standard stump speech. I usually just talk about whatever happened the day leading up to me coming somewhere. So today, it was interesting. I saw the other day somebody who's running for the same seat on the other side, a Lexington native. He goes by Andy, but his name is Garland. And he posted one of the most vile commercials I've ever seen in my life. Attacking people for the color of their skin, making fun of us for caring about people who look different than us. You don't have to be a politician. You don't have to be an attorney, which I am. You don't have to be a former federal agent, which I am. You don't have to be anything special to not treat people like shit. And unfortunately, I did it. Oh no, but my bad. That'll be the worst one. But it's insane to me that he is our current representative, and now he's running for Senate, and a lot of people support him. I got here a little late right now because I had to stop before this, and it was at a church downtown. It was a universal call to prayer and reflection for our country, our community here, and anyone could go. And I was invited by someone in this room. They just reached out to me. They said, "Hey, I go here. Will you please come?" I didn't post about it because that's not a political stop for me. But I went and I met her, and it was interesting. So when I got there, there were about a dozen or so people who came up, and they were like, "Are you Logan? Are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not used to this, but yes, I am." And they said, "Oh, we saw your commercial today that you posted," because I responded to old Garland's DEI commercial. I fixed it for him. And I learned just now that the church I was in is the church he grew up in. Wow. His mom was there tonight, and she's a deacon there. And I had no idea. And that was not intentional. And all of the people who came up, more than a dozen, they said, "I can't believe who he is. I can't believe he would say that. That's not who he was."
Is his mom in there?
No, she would. I didn't talk to her. But she probably is. My mom would kill me if I did that. And that's a problem, guys. It's a problem when we have somebody in office and we have other people running for this seat, mainly on that side, who will so drastically change who they are to suck up to one person and to earn the support of a party that is literally going off a cliff. Everybody who knew him as a kid growing up that I talked to tonight, they didn't recognize him in the commercials. And that's not me. I wish it was. He's doing really well. He's in Congress. He's running for Senate. He could get at least their primary win. It's worked out for him. But I can't do that. I wish I could sell myself out. I wish I could go and be a big corporate attorney instead of doing workers' rights and civil rights right now, but I don't do that. I'm married a school teacher, and we're very fortunate to have our house that we own with a mortgage. Like most people, can't even, just write a check for it. But my kids have their own bedroom, something I didn't have. They have food that even though when we grew up on food stamps, we didn't always have food. They have health insurance, which is really good. It's better than the Medicaid I grew up on. And every day when they get off the bus or we go pick them up at school, like I said, they get to come to their own home. When I grew up, there were times when we lived in a van, my mom and I, just because we didn't have anything. And I'm running to represent working class people, the people who have the least amongst us. Because in Kentucky, due to the circumstances, due to the fact that all of the people who have represented us for the most part in DC for the past 50 years have always been Republican, the circumstances here are such that you can work your ass off and still struggle. most people who work minimum wage jobs, they're not even paycheck to paycheck. You know, they're payday loan to payday loan. They're in a debt cycle they can't get out of, and that's not okay. I firmly believe, and this is, I'm a socialist according to other people, I believe you work, you have a job, you should pay your bills, be able to pay your bills. You should be able to put some in savings. And your life shouldn't be miserable. You shouldn't have to hold your breath from Friday to Friday, just hoping that the money in your bank account stretches that far. Guys, we live in the richest country on earth. And I tell people, when I went hungry growing up, I didn't have this thought when I was a kid, but I have it now. How sad is it that in Kentucky, so much of our land is farmland, and Kentucky is inside the richest country on earth, and yet we have hungry kids. We have 500,000 people in Kentucky, closer to 600,000, who receive food stamps every month. There's no reason for that. The money is there. They're going to tell you it's not. They're going to tell you that these welfare programs are the ones bankrupting us. They're the reason why we're in a deficit. No, we're in a deficit because the Pentagon can't account for $10 trillion the past decade. We're in a deficit because people like Elon Musk and all the defense contractors get multi-billion-dollar contracts every month from the government to not actually produce anything. You know, we have to do better. We can't just give money out to the wealthiest. We need to audit everywhere that our federal funds are going, make sure they're being used appropriately. If they're not, we cut it. And we need to make sure, first and foremost, our safety net programs are funded, and they're funded more each year, not less, so we can expand those programs, not kick people off it who need it. And as your next senator, I will do everything I can, including, kicking and screaming, literally kicking these people if I have to ensure that most of our federal funds are allocated in our budget go to education and healthcare. Because I believe that the fact that I was able to get an education, because my mom instilled that in all 4 of her children, if you get an education, you can change your circumstances. And the fact that we had Medicaid that kept me healthy enough to where I didn't die before I got my education, I believe those 2 things allowed me to overcome poverty. And now I'm happily, middle class paycheck to paycheck. But it's a lot better than living in a van. Because I want the same opportunities and the same ability for someone to advance that I've had. And right now we're moving backwards. And I'm running because that's not right. I'm running because we have not had a senator, especially in the seat that I'm going for right now, represent Kentuckians in almost 50 years. And I'm running and I'm just one of you guys. I can't tell you why I'm up here and one of you aren't. This is just the way life worked out for me today. But I promise you, with your support and with your vote, if I get there, I will never make a decision to make you wonder why I did that. So, I appreciate your time, and I'll take any questions. Yeah.
So, one of my biggest concerns right now is we no longer have 3 equal branches, right? The legislators have totally given up on doing their job, and Donald Trump has come out and said that he doesn't need to listen to the judiciary.
Yeah.
As someone with some legal experience, if we don't flip the House or the Senate, do we have means to stop him from refusing to give up power, to continue to violate the Constitution like he's doing?
Yeah, so we do, but unfortunately those same systems are the ones he's ignoring. And the fact that they do have a majority in the House and the Senate, the fact that he was able to stack the Supreme Court means that those separate branches of government that are supposed to keep him in check, they're propping him up. They're supporting him. So this is a big election. This is a very vital election. I'm not doom and gloom either. I've lived through some pretty bad times and I've come out of it, and I've always been pretty optimistic. But we have a true sociopath in the White House, and we have to fully understand that. What we have to do, we have to flip this seat. We have to flip the 6 that Aaron's running for, and we have to hope and pray that throughout America, many other seats flip too. And we have 2 options then. For the next presidential election, let's say that we get somebody in office. Hopefully it's our current government. I think we would all like that. But let's say it's someone who's crazier, but they're on our side. You know, we could then, if we have that House and the Senate, we can do the exact same thing Donald Trump's doing, but for us, right? But yeah, and see, and that, at first that seems pretty good. My argument is, though, we get people in office that put up safeguards, that we see where our systems have failed, and we fix them, ensure that they don't ever fail again. One of the biggest things is we have to have term limits for everything, for the office I'm running for the office Aaron's running for, and we also have to have term limits or year limits for anybody that's appointed. So if you're a federal judge, whether it's at the magistrate district level all the way up to the Supreme Court, you should be limited in the amount of years you can sit on the bench. And you know, give them 10 years. That gives you a potential 2 full presidential terms plus 2 years, but then you're gone. That way we don't have a court that is picked by a sociopath that are going to continue to do sociopathic things. And it has to be retroactive. We have to get in, we have to put this in place, and we have to have our current justices all the way up to the Supreme Court level on staggered in terms, and we have to kick them out. Yes, sir.
Yes, Justice Clarence Thomas is obviously corrupt, having taken money from wealthy people, probably to do certain things. Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh, I believe this is correct, lied during a Senate confirmation, misstating their position on whether Roe v. Wade was established law. I believe they were under oath when they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Should we consider impeachment and conviction as a way to reorient the Supreme Court more in line with the values of the American people?
Yes.
Remember that the Republicans, Mitch McConnell wouldn't allow Barack Obama to even appoint or nominate a Supreme Court justice for a whole year.
Yeah, well, their whole game plan is hypocrisy, right? So we just got to understand that's how they are, and we just have to deal with that. But yeah, we have to impeach them. What's really funny to me is Clarence Thomas. One of the things he took was an RV, and RVs are nice. Don't get me wrong; you can get a really nice RV. The times we weren't homeless, I lived in a trailer, and when we were homeless, I lived in a van, which is nothing, less than an RV without a toilet in it. Why would that be a bribe? Like, I'm looking at him, I'm like, you accepted essentially like a trailer on wheels with a motor, and that was enough for him to sell his soul, which is insane to me. But yeah, there's clearly misconduct, and that is worthy of impeachment. This is one of the things that I argue right now, and this is why I proudly state that none of the national Democratic leadership will endorse me. I know they won't, don't know, or even if I win the primary, because I'm not satisfied with how they're doing. I'm speaking out against them. Why have they not tried to impeach these people? Even right now with everything that's going on with ICE, the leadership came out, and I know you talked about the courts, and yes, the answer is yes. We impeach them, we move on, and we also establish the term limits that I want. We fix the whole system, we get the bad ones out immediately. But in order to do that, you have to have people in office who will do that. Our current people in office won't. Even with Kristi Noem, the DHS secretary, they're doing terrible things. 2 Americans murdered. We've all seen that by ICE. They come on immediately, call them domestic terrorists, say they're assassins, they were there to kill people. That's not what happened. I was trained by DHS. When I was a special agent in the Secret Service, I went through that training. I would be in prison 10 years ago if I did either of those shootings that they did. Instead, you have a talking head for the agency that gets on TV immediately and puts all the blame without an investigation on the victims. So what does our party do? Everyone in DC, what do they do? That's grounds for removal in my book. I would stay up all night, draft the articles of impeachment, file the next day. Instead, they go on TV and they say, hey, if the administration doesn't fire her, then we're going to impeach her. No, just impeach her.
Right.
Don't make your action contingent upon somebody else doing something, because they're not going to do it. Right. And that is the problem with our current party at the national level. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make a lot of friends. That's fine. But I'm not going there to make friends. I'm not going there to, increase my my interests. I've been poor before, I'll be poor again. I don't care. Any other questions? Yes.
I've got 2 questions.
Absolutely.
So the Senate is a pretty big seat. It's also a very visible one. How do you plan to handle questions about the cultural war topics and speaking points like more specifically immigrants and queer people, queer and trans people?
Like, I'll just be honest about it. Do you have like a question like
Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
how, like, if you were to be asked for your opinion on trans people in sports,
Yeah.
how would you answer that?
Well, trans people are people, right? I can't believe that we have to talk about that. I believe everyone in this room, regardless of that status, if you're trans or not, you have basic human rights. Everyone has basic human rights. It's so funny, we finally feel like we're getting over a hurdle with a certain oppressed people, and then we find another group to ensure that we just, keep our foot on them, keep them down. And that's not who I am. I'm not trans, so I do not understand the struggles and the heartache and everything that comes with that. But I am a person. I do understand that, we all want to be treated with a certain level of respect and dignity. And in Kentucky, I'm not sure how many trans athletes there are. I know people, there's one, yeah. So that's the thing, guys. It's not an issue, but there's not enough people for, like, some people are like, they can have their own league. Well, they can't if there's one in the state. They can't, guys. We just have to treat people like people and let them participate in the organizations, the foundations that we've set up that we all expect to be able to participate in without pushback. They should not be treated differently.
My second question is a little bit different. We've kind of talked about the financial aspect of it, of your run. Are you taking any corporate money, specifically APAC, or would you be open to?
No. So, and that's, if y'all check out my social medias, and my website, I speak about this. I believe that we have to have wide reform in how campaigns are run. I don't believe you should be able to have special interests contribute to a candidate at all. I think the only contributions a candidate should be able to receive are individual contributions. I take it a step further and I put a max on it, and I say you should only be able to receive a certain amount of money, which is equal to the number of registered voters that can vote for you in the race that you're in, times their individual max. And also, only 10% of that max should be allowed to come outside of your electorate. I don't think it's right that people fly out, to the Hamptons or to these really wealthy places, cuddle up with billionaires and get a lot of money from them. Elon Musk gave Nate Morris $10 million, not because Elon Musk wants your life to be better. If he wanted that, guys, he would be here giving that $10 million to our schools. He would be improving our roads. He'd be in eastern or western Kentucky fixing the water infrastructure that's crumbling. He didn't do that. He gave $10 million to a very sleazy politician, wannabe, with the idea in his mind that, like anything else he spends money on, is an investment. He thinks that $10 million is going to pay dividends, and him, just like everyone else who's wealthy and who has businesses that they want to move into Kentucky, he's planning on being able to come in here, take our land for very cheap, because it's been set up to be cheap for the 50-something years that Mitch McConnell and all these other people have been in office. They've made sure that our land is cheap, and that they can pay everyone poverty wages, because they've kept it at poverty wages, to ensure that they can get the maximum amount of profit. That's what they're doing, and that's wrong. So I stopped my fundraising last quarter. Some money still came in, which was nice, but I didn't need it. And here's the thing. I'm not just running for like the worst amongst us financially. I did grow up in poverty. I know what that's like. It was hard. I do want to represent those people, and I will represent them. I'm also running for working class people. So when I started this, there was a big team, all the consultants and advisors that you get, and they wanted me to be on the phone for 8 hours a day. And the whole purpose of every call I was to make, I was supposed to build rapport for like a minute or two, and then immediately ask everyone, including y'all, to give me money. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, guys. It doesn't cost $1 million for me to drive to a county to go talk to people. I live in Lexington right now. This probably cost me like 20-something cents in gas to get over here. You don't need that. It costs $500 to put my name on the ballot. I paid for that. The shirts that I've gotten and handed out, I paid for that out of pocket as well. You don't need millions upon millions of dollars to do this. And as a matter of fact, most of the time, when candidates raise that much money, if you look at reports that are filed, they might raise $1 million, and then they have $500,000 in expense going out to a media firm that sends out text messages. So when you get a text message that says, hey, please give to me or else we're going to lose this and the world's going to go to hell, you give to them, almost all of that money goes to that firm. Doesn't stay in your state. Pennies on the dollar. And they did that to me when I first started. I didn't know. And after 2 weeks, they're gone. I would rather lose this way. I'd rather go bankrupt than to win that way, because that is insane. And that is not what anyone in here in Kentucky and America deserves. Yeah, not good. Yes, ma'am.
So I know a lot of us are concerned about just the state of democracy in general, and I love your ideas about term limits. Well, some of those would require a constitutional amendment, right? So that may be lofty for positions like the Senate or the Supreme Court. What do you feel like you could do within the purview of your role in the Senate to restore integrity to democracy and the voice of the people?
Yeah, so be one that actually represents the voice of the people. Hope that not just here in Kentucky, but in all the other states for these elections that are coming up, other people that are like-minded get in there. Because guys, if we get enough people who are actually focused on doing this the right way, you can enact change. You can make a constitutional amendment. It's lofty, yeah, that's one hell of a goal. But it's been done before. We can do it again. And we're at a time right now, the world is what it is. We see it every day on the news, and we're all probably crying ourselves to sleep because we don't know how we got here. If not now, then never. Then we're not going to be able to. So get people in there. Even if I don't have the votes, when I've talked to people who are currently in Congress, and I've asked them, hey, why haven't you tried to remove people? Through impeachment, through other means. Oh, we don't have the votes to do it. Well, show the people who see you there that you'll try. I'll harass people. I'll be the annoying person. I don't care. I will, to answer your question, everything I can do within the scope as a junior senator, I will do plus some. I will probably be arrested for harassing people. It's fine. It's fine. I've been put in handcuffs before for training purposes, so and I can pick them, so no big deal. Yes, sir.
I like most of what you've said. I disagree with you on term limits. If you get elected and do good things for people, I want you to stay in office. As long as you continue to do good things,
Yeah.
I don't want you to be forced out of that office.
Well,
That makes the position vulnerable
yeah.
to someone who isn't gonna do good things. I mean, I'm not sure that should be a major part of your campaign, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Well, and I'm for the sake of honesty, and I know like right now, if I had my team that I had here, they would be going crazy because they know what I'm about to say. They don't want me to say it. Guys, if we get enough people in office, and in 6 years as a senator, we can do all these good things, and we can put up safeguards, and this can be good, I won't even run for re-election. I will come back and be home and be with my kids. Guys, I ran, at the time there was only one other person running for this seat, and the fact that everything that kept me alive was being cut in the budget bill, the fact that my kid who was old enough, he's a young teenager, was actually getting scared of what he was seeing on the news and what his country was becoming. That's why I'm running. You know, I've lived in the DC area. I don't like DC. I don't like politicians. I hate them. I drove them around, you know, and they are the worst. So, you know, I hope I do a great job. I hope that I'm able to, and it's by luck, and if we get enough people elected, we can do all these things. I hope we can. I hope you want me to stay. But if we're in a good spot, man, I just want to come home. I was away when I was in the Secret Service. You know, I was gone 28 days a month, typically, sometimes month after month, and I missed so much of my kid's life. You know, I'm running because someone has to. And I hope this is not a 30, 40-year gig. Because if you're in there that long, guys, you're doing something wrong.
We've got about 5 minutes left for you.
Okay.
Before we finish, you've told us what you do as a senator, but before you get there, you got to win the primary.
Yeah.
And I know we're all on the same team, but in a field with Amy McGrath and Charles Booker, and even Pam Stevenson's well known in the state, you know, how do you gain traction in that field? What do you say to the electorate?
Yeah. So just showing up matters. And you're going to see all of our faces all the time. Sorry about that. Practicing what you preach. you know, I'm not gonna like harass you, I'm not gonna do that. I will show up. If y'all call me and invite me to your church, I'll probably show up. I did that tonight and had no idea that was old Garland's church. That was a nightmare. I was actually praying. Came to her, I was like, please don't let anyone kill me. You know, I didn't think that was gonna happen. But yeah, you know, just speaking to the actual issues that people are going through, putting out a plan, listening to people. It's really funny. Because of my role with the government for a long time, I didn't have social media. I was not technologically inclined because of that. Like, it advanced so quickly and so much that there's a lot of stuff I missed out on. I didn't have social medias until I ran for this campaign. And the other day, my sweet wife, she should be here. She's at home with the kids though. She sent me this picture. She's like, hey, this is a trend, and I made your face on it or whatever. So I put it online, and everyone's like, that's AI, you're a monster. And I'm like, what is happening here? 'Cause I didn't know what it was. So I tell everyone my wife was sabotaging me because the night before that, I was down in Carlisle County in far western Kentucky, and I said my little line, I was like, I've been poor, I'll be poor again. I'll go bankrupt, I don't care. And I don't think she wants that to happen. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna sabotage this campaign. So she did the AI thing. But no, I posted it, and the feedback, yeah, like people reached out and they said, I'm disappointed. Like, I loved everything you said, but what is this? And I was like, I knew there were some bad things, I didn't know enough. And my ignorance, just because I didn't use it, is how it was. And I can't expect to ask for your support and your vote if I can't understand these issues coming to us. So I studied and I read up on it, and now I have a whole plan on how, when not only data centers for AI come to Kentucky, but other industries that come to Kentucky, you know, or anywhere else in America, they have to provide a net positive to the communities they go into. No more pollution, no more eating up resources, no more being a draw on the power grid. They all need to be self-sustaining with renewable energy. They have to create their own. They have to now create more than what they use, and that excess needs to be pumped into the communities to bring down utility costs for everyone else. That is doable. It's more expensive for these companies. But guys, here's the thing, with innovation, ideally, let's say innovation technology keeps going until we get to the utopia, the dream where no one ever has to work again, right? Your needs still have to be met. We're still gonna have all of these big factories and everything making goods and stuff for us. Maybe no one has to work there because of automation, but all of our needs, all of our resources, everything has to be taken care of. So let's start today. Let's do the baby steps. Let's make it to where these things come in to a small town in Kentucky that not only do they not pollute the water, but they have to put filtration systems in there to make it better than it was. You know, if they're not going to be creating a lot of jobs, or they're not going to be paying livable wages, which they will under the law if we get enough people in here to change that, they have to do something positive. Guys, they don't even give people pensions anymore, for heaven's sake, right? Like, they're doing the minimum they can to extract the most that they can. And screw that. No more.
Thank you.